Welcome to a podcast of total terror. Night of the Nerdy Laser. A podcast which celebrates films of horror. Night of the Nerdy Laser. A night with a podcast that won't stay dead. A podcast of total horror. Night of the Nerdy Laser.
Welcome back, horrorheads, to Night of the Nerdy Laser, episode 71. I am Richard Tidy Whitey Yule.
And I'm Jeff Lown.
And we are starting off the new year a new way, Jeff. We've always been a horror podcast, but you had to bring Ninja 3 to us a few months ago.
You're welcome.
And that just sparked... I do appreciate that, yes. And Ninja 3 is like a horror, martial arts, sci-fi, exorcism thing. So,
sure, yeah.
That fit in pretty good, I guess. But we are so going forward. We're gonna mix in some of our favorite martial arts movies here and there, and we'll try to pick ones that have like a goofy twist on them, which isn't too hard to do. And that includes tonight, which has ESP. Ooh. We are talking first about Cynthia Rothrock's 1996 Sworn to Justice.
Yes.
Just out on Vinegar Syndrome. Was it a VSA release, a Vinegar Syndrome release? Who knows? I can't keep
Yeah, VSA, like 22 or something.
VSA. Okay, so, and it's available on Tubi as well, as is everything.
And Prime, I think. I think I watched it on Prime.
Oh, okay. We both own the DVD, the Blu-ray, the Vinegar Syndrome release, and we both watched it on another service. And it's because I can't find my copy. I don't want to talk about it. So,
I do. Let's get into it.
Get into why I can't find anything.
Yes.
Mostly my fault. But I do blame the cats sometimes because they knock shit down to the floor.
There we
I
go.
just give up. Yeah.
All right. Good enough.
I mean, it's somewhere. It's here. It's okay. So we are live on YouTube as well. If you want to follow us over there, we would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe. We do a lot of stuff other than the podcast. We do some unboxings, and our Trash Talk show goes on over there. So lots of cool stuff over there on YouTube. Just look up Night of the Nerdy Laser. We're the only ones. And just click subscribe. It would help us out a lot.
Do it.
Also follow us on all your podcatchers that you can, Spotify, Libsyn, Apple Podcasts, and more. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Night of the Nerdy Laser. Pretty easy to find us, so please help support us in those ways. And pretty soon we're going to have a little store up, and it'll have a few things on there. We've got some Jason masks for sale, so if you want a cheap Jason mask, we're probably going to have those on our store, as well as some custom stuff and some other knickknacks. Polywhack, give a dog a bone.
Do you have any T-shirts left?
We do have T-shirts. So here's the problem, Jeff, with T-shirts, is that we have to pay for the website if we want to do T-shirts. So we can do a free store for a little while, see if there's any interest. We're going to have stickers and some other cool things on there. But in order to do the drop down of sizes, like small, large, medium, and all that, you have to pay for it. But you can put other stuff. You can put like 5 items the other way. So we'll baby steps, but we do have T-shirts for sale. And, baby steps.
Yep.
Don't rush me, Jeff. But we do have some awesome stickers, not just Night and Nerdy Laser stickers. I have these other designs that are really fun. I haven't sold them anywhere else, so I figured on the Night and Nerdy Laser store would be the best place to start. And they are designs thought up by me and drawn by Jason Wolf, and they're really fun. So I'll keep it secret for now until we show them, because I haven't really showed anybody. I mean, other than some of my closest friends.
I think I know.
Yeah, you know. They're parodies of horror movies. So,
all right. Yeah, you gave me some when I came out there.
Yeah. So, Jeff, who is Cynthia Rothrock besides a Flintstone character?
She
doesn't that sound like a
yeah.
character?
So apparently she was like she's a martial arts expert and athlete according to IMDb. I don't really know her. I just knew she was in quite a few of those B movies. I describe them as, like 80s, 90s movies, all centered around the martial arts kind of field. I didn't realize, at first I thought she might have just been an actress, but no, she's legit. She knows all the martial arts stuff. She's even on her IMDb page. She has like Black Belt magazine, and she's doing all the like martial arts poses and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think she was pretty big from like mid 80s to like early 90s doing these films, I want to say.
Oh, even late 90s. I mean.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, Sworn to Justice is 96.
Yeah. What was the one you were watching the other day?
Oh, Honor and Glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, I think, or 90. So Rothrock was a world champion in forms and weapons 5 times through 81 to 85. So that's really awesome. It's not combat oriented, but it's like fluidity of movement rather than fighting. So she holds 7 black belts and sashes and multiple Far Eastern martial disciplines, which is 7 more than I have. And it is cool. I mean, her career is actually awesome. Like, I remember her movies from growing up, and her story is really cool. I mean, in 83, she was inducted into the Black Belt Magazine Hall of Fame as Female Competitor of the Year, and she was the first woman to appear on a cover of a martial arts magazine. She was on the Ernie Reyes West Coast demonstration team. Now, does the name Ernie Reyes seem familiar to you, Jeff? What about Ernie Reyes Jr.?
Can't say I know it.
Ernie Reyes Jr. was the kid in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and he was in Surf Ninjas. I mean, he went on to have a pretty good career. Oh, Kramer.
Hear him screaming or what?
Yes. I see him. He's mad. He won't let him outside to get his ass kicked again. Kramer is a cat, by the way. If you don't have the YouTube video in front of you. So Ernie Reyes' father, she was on his team, and that's when Golden Harvest, which was a martial arts production company, discovered her. And they gave her first part in Yes, Madam, also known as Police Assassins, also known as In the Line of Duty Part 2, which I think that's the one I've heard of before. It was a success, and she stayed in Hong Kong until 88, doing 7 films. And that's pretty amazing because she's one of the few Western performers to achieve genuine stardom in the local Hong Kong film industry. So, wow. I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah.
But there's not many Cynthia Rothrocks around, right? I mean, like, she's very distinguishable and she's a badass. So makes sense. She did other movies like Martial Law, China O'Brien, which one of my favorite movie names of all time.
Have you seen it?
And, I mean, I think I saw all these when I was growing up. Like when I discovered Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then I found out there was a female Jean-Claude
It
Van
really
Damme.
is. It really is called China O'Brien, isn't it?
And then there's China O'Brien too.
Yes.
Guardian Angel, Honor and Glory, like I mentioned earlier, and the sequel to No Retreat, No Surrender, which I think had Jean-Claude, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was him beating up that guy.
So, do you remember the animated show Eat the Cat?
Oh, Eek, yes. I was going to
Eat
say
the
eat. No, I don't
No.
eat cats.
Eat the Cat.
Yes, I remember
Eat
it.
the Cat was on Fox when in their heyday when the Saturday morning was crazy over there. She did a voice on that for I think just one episode, but she was always also the inspiration for Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, cool.
Kind of makes sense.
Brandy, if you're listening, you like Mortal Kombat, so there's a fun fact for you.
Fun fact. Also, I did see some of this, but I never found it factual. I actually found somebody else was the inspiration, but it says that she's the inspiration. I've heard some people say she's also the inspiration for Mario. No, for for art of for the art of fighting and what's the other one? King of Fighters. No, Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, all that stuff. There's a character called King, and it's a female, but she's disguising herself as a male to fight. And but there, I don't know if that's accurate. I think it was somebody else, but who knows? In 2014, this is the last deep dive we'll do on her career. But she starred, which I need to find this because I remember it coming out and I never watched it. I mean, it was a straight to DVD release or straight to sci-fi. I think it was an Asylum movie.
Probably.
But it was called Mercenaries. Do you remember this? It was around the time of Expendables and Expendables 2. So it was basically the reverse. It was the female. It was this ragtag group of female, and Cynthia Rothrock was one of them. Kristana Loken, Brigitte Nielsen, Vivica A. Fox, Zoe Bell. So they got together.
Come on.
It's like Vivica A. Fox was in Kill Bill. Throw her in this action movie.
Exactly, yeah.
And Zoe Bell, I mean, I guess she was known for, Death Proof? I mean, she's a stunt woman, but...
Yeah, she's a big stunt.
Quentin gave her a big role. I don't know what else she's had, but... Anyway, so that's that. Sworn to Justice. This should have been a half-hour TV show, man. Like, they could have made... They had all intents purposes for this to be a franchise, right?
I think so. I mean, because didn't martial law...
I mean, they...
franchise. It has like 2 or 3. I think it was a VSA release too.
No. Well, no, it's Tiger Claw. It's Tiger Claw. She was also in Tiger Claw.
There's another one she is on that VSA put out, and there's 2 of them.
I don't know. I don't know.
I will.
Don't you?
I'm gonna figure it out.
All right. Well, while you figure it out, I will talk. She was also in Tiger Claw 1 through 3. I haven't seen those, but I do own them. They are on my list because the cast is really good in those, and the box set is really sweet for Vinegar Syndrome. So Cynthia Rothrock. I mean, I always liked her when I was a kid. I think she's a good actress. I think most of the lines that they give her are bad. But she's a great fighter, and I love the scenes with her fighting, and that's what we're really there for.
The Martial Law is a movie, but I don't think it's the same one.
I know it's a movie. She is in the movie Martial Law.
Okay. And then she's in Martial Law too. So that has to be the one that they put out. She's actually done a lot of work with Vinegar Syndrome. She is in this. She's in those 2. She was in New York Ninja.
She still works. Yeah, she does the voice in New York Ninja. Yeah, no, she still works. And in fact, she has a website where you can go and buy her autograph and buy a video meeting with her. And and all sorts of cool stuff. Her website is actually pretty awesome. So if you do want to, want an autograph from her, I mean, I would like to have one.
Righting Wrongs. That was another
Righting
one.
Wrongs. That's the one they just put out too. They put it and Sworn to Justice out at the same time, I think.
Yeah, it was like
Righting Wrongs is
Black
like
Friday thing.
Yeah, it was like 86 or 87, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Sworn to Justice has a bunch of stuff in it. It's like that Ninja 3, man. It's just kind of all over the place. You've got a mystery, but the reason I say it should have been a franchise, or that I think that they were thinking it was a franchise, is, I mean, there's storylines that are ongoing. Like at the end of the movie, they're like, "Rah, I'll get her," whatever. And but I don't know. Maybe it didn't. I mean, by 96, if this had come out in 92, it probably would have done way better. I think by 96, I mean, I was a senior in high school. I had no interest in something like this, even though I feel like I saw it. It wasn't something that I ran out and, wasn't. By this time, I think that stuff had just kind of fallen to the wayside.
Yeah, for me, 92, I think Three Ninjas. I mean, it was still big, but I think it was more geared towards the kids' side at that point. You have Surf Ninjas, you have Three Ninjas, and it's like 2 or 3 sequels. You get all that kind of stuff. So, I mean,
true.
I don't know if it was for the older crowd. I'm sure there was, but that's a weird thing to say, because martial arts sequels. Isn't Hulk Hogan in one?
I was going to say, you have three Ninja movies because Hulk Hogan is in the third one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he is. But no, I was saying, like, I remember like the 90s were a weird time for martial arts. Like, everybody was in them, it seemed like. I remember my neighbor across the street used to take karate, so I'd want to go do it, but like I never did it. But I'd go watch his like classes and stuff and be like, oh, I got to learn how to do this. And then like you'd go and you'd be like, oh, this is kind of boring as a kid, because you're not like punching people or breaking stuff. And
yeah, I want to kick ass and cut up bonsai trees, man. Where's the tournament? I need a tournament.
Exactly. I mean, we have the big one that everybody knows. But yeah, there was a lot of martial arts stuff going on at the time. So I just don't know if it had the audience, but not big enough. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I do actually like the character.
Yeah,
I just wish like they had a part 1 that did one thing, and then they had a part 2 that did another, or even a damn TV show, like a syndicated show would have been awesome.
Yeah,
but in this movie,
technically she could be like She-Hulk because she's a lawyer. This one she works for the law. Yeah, let's do that. Let's break down each of her different like attributes. So
things.
Yeah, she's like she's a
vigilante.
Right. She has a doctorate in psychology, and she works with attorneys.
She has ESP because she fell about 400 feet from a house and hit every tree branch on the way down, which I'm guessing is how she got her ESP, because she didn't have it before then.
The accident.
So we start the movie off with her finding her sister and nephew killed, which having a kid die, what, a 10-year-old?
Something like that.
Brutal right away. He's laying there dead.
They went there.
Yeah, they did. So we get them, and we get the bad guys that killed them. They're still in the house. They try to kill her. She jumps off her balcony, which is about 400 feet in the air, hits every tree branch on the way down. She grabs a hold of the necklace later on of her sister's, and all of a sudden she can see what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, she got the power, the gift of the sight. So
my favorite part of this movie is so bad. So she goes to this ESP doctor or some sort.
Yeah.
And they test her, and she's terrible. So And
Yeah.
she doesn't do it. Like they're hiding a ball in her cup and she can't find it, and she's drawing things, and nothing's really showing that she has ESP. So she walks outside with this doctor who has the worst accent on the face of the planet. He talks like I don't know, like I'm blanking who I'm thinking of, but he's just talking with a really bad accent. And if it is his accent, it's a really bad accent. But I can't imagine it is. But anyway, he explains to her that even though she scored low, that's sometimes the means even more that you have ESP.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
not
make
what that
any
means.
sense. No, that's not what that means. I have some quotes. Hold on, let me pull up my notes, which I don't have many, but so I don't have any notes until right about here. There's one line she says. So I don't know exactly what scene this is, but she says, "You can't protect me, Lorraine. Axe murders are my business."
And Lorraine is her boss.
What? That
right?
doesn't make any sense. We have not seen an axe murder. Nobody in this movie has an axe. At any time are we in a horror movie where Jason is chasing her with an axe. Like, I don't understand that line. That's what I'm saying, is like they gave her just the worst lines.
They really did. And I mean, you were saying, she's not a bad actor or actress, but I agree. The way I think the writing has a lot to do with it, because I mean, they're very heavy on, they wanted to find a way to incorporate her doing her martial arts, obviously. So I think, they focus heavy on that. They bring in a villain that, has no business knowing them, but they're all white dudes. Like, what? Come on. Come on. And, but, so when she has these lines, they come off kind of wooden, but it's not her fault. I think it's literally just the lines. Like, I don't think it's the way she's delivering them. You know what I mean?
No, it's the lines for sure.
They're really stupid. And Lorraine is her boss, right?
Yeah, Lorraine is like her boss or friend, coworker. I don't really know. There's
so
many
out
different
something
people
about her.
because there's a DA, there's the sheriff and the DA. I don't know.
Yeah, they were at some party.
I thought Lorraine was going to be the bad guy at the end, but that didn't really pan out.
No, she was actually somebody who was deeply in love with her.
That's the other thing. Where the hell did that come from?
Where did that come from?
It's like we'll get there. So I want to talk about this store fight. So she turns into a vigilante trying to solve her sister's murder, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't even know why they killed her sister or the nephew. I don't know if they explain it.
They do.
They do?
Yeah, it's kind of brief in passing, just a dialogue dump. But she mentions that she was supposed to be out of town, so the people were going in to rob her house and then didn't realize the sister and nephew were there, so they kill him. Because the new crime, like Kingpin syndicate that got set up, like a bunch of multicultural people hanging out in a warehouse. They're in town and they're changing the rules, buddy.
These are the worst villains in movie history. I'm really gonna... The brother, they're terrible. Maybe the ultimate villain is okay, but man, for most of the movie, what we get is really bad. So she turns into this vigilante and she's going around saving people and stuff. So she goes into the store and she can't find the owner or whatever. And she hears some scrapping in the back, and she's looking in there, and then I think they kidnap her. Somebody says, "What are you doing?" and gets her and drags her back there. But this store fight, so it's in this warehouse behind the store. It turns into a cartoon. Like, there's elephant noises, and when she hits them in the balls, there's like, boy, like, no other scene does this. Just this scene has like these weird cartoon noises throughout it. it's just a crazy movie that doesn't make it. It's like Ninja 3. They put so many different things in here. It doesn't really make any sense, but that's kind of its charm.
No, it's insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
There's some really bad language in here too, as far as not PC is the language I'm talking about. And it's specifically when the doctor is talking to her. First off, they're trying to diagnose this little girl, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks him about, how does she say it? It's Asperger's, but she says like Asperger's, or she says it weird, like they don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
And then the doctor, this is not meant to be offensive by me. This was in the movie, but I want to mention it because I think, but they say we have ruled out retardation. It's like, what does that even mean? Like, you can tell the people that wrote this movie in '96 were, and I'm not a PC guy, like, but that's just not even good writing.
No.
It's
like they wanted to sound smart but didn't know how, so they just like straight up said that rather than like a more,
detailed,
straight diagnosed like thing. They just kind of threw a blanket statement on what people used to say, but it's not. It's messed up. So
it's totally screwed up, and I mean, I really wish that scene wasn't in the movie. Like, I wish, like the Cannibal Holocaust movie, where they take out the animal kills, that they did a Sworn to Justice cut, where they took out the doctor.
He really serves no purpose other than to basically tell us that she might have ESP because she scored bad on an ESP
which
test.
We've already seen.
Yeah, we watched her do it. She picked up like her sister's necklace and she's like,
necklace.
All right, I'll do it for you. I'll fight these people. And you're like, okay, she's just getting revenge on those guys she wants, which she does, and it leads her to the boss at the top eventually. But, she just happens to be doing these like random acts of like saving people, but they're the same criminals that were tied to the criminals that broke into her house by chance. And it's like there's only 4 criminals in this town, and they all do all the crimes.
The guy that killed her sister and nephew, she kills halfway through the movie.
Yeah. Also, one of them is what's his face from Chucky, Child's Play. What's his face?
The main guy, Alex
Brad
Benson?
Dourif. No, Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif.
Yeah, he's
really?
one of the guys. He's the driver for the people that broke into her house. So he wasn't involved as much, and he's on trial in this movie for another crime. And
is he Teddy?
Yeah, is that what his name is?
Yeah, Teddy, the
Teddy.
main guy that's on. He's the one that his parents abused him, and he didn't stab the guy. It was
he thought it was the dad, not a security guard or a cop or whatever. But yeah, that's Brad Dourif, and he was saying like, oh, I didn't have much to do with it, and she's like, she gets him off, but then like when she's talking to him back there for getting him off that trial, that's when she gets ESP because she like touches something he owned, and then he knew exactly what she was talking about, and she was just like, "Why'd you kill my family?" And I was like, "Well, it's Harrison Ford."
And then she gets into like, he gets out or whatever, and she gets into the room with him, and she's like kicking him and starts to hit him, and has kind of a temper tantrum in a way.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, so it's basically her just going around trying to get these bad guys. And there is an underlying story where there's the man, that's all they call him.
Yeah.
Is in charge of this. So we get Eugene, who sucks, and we get his brother, Nick?
Something like that.
No, not Nick. Nick is the love interest, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that at all. Roach?
I mean, it's fine.
No. Roach, Pete, Moon. I'm just reading some of the names because they're kind of funny. Briggs, we find out later, is somebody else also. Who else was in? Pete, Judge, Jeremy, Killer, Hold Up Man, Shelley, Officer Clark. About 46 different people as the title of Fighter.
Of course.
Hey, who were you in that movie? I was Fighter 6. Scene 23.
dude, I was Fighter 7. Yeah.
Guess that makes Jason Fighter 8.
Yeah, so there is a love interest in this movie, and it's fine. He's fine. But we see a lot of him in tighty-whitey underwear, and
Yeah.
we don't see any boobs, and I'm very disappointed because even in one scene, because I think Cynthia Rothrock is attractive.
Yeah.
I could see where somebody may not, but I think she's very attractive. But there is one scene where she still has a bra on, but you can see her nipple. Just take the bra off.
Yeah, they do have what I think I told you 2 to 3 random sex scenes in this with no like actual sex.
2.
And both times it's like almost the same exact thing. He like picks her up from somewhere and like turns and puts her to someone else. And so the first time I watched the first one, I was like, all right, whatever. They had to throw this in there. And then when I saw the second one and it was basically the same thing, I was like, what did they even put this in the movie for?
Yeah, they should have got what's his...
Like it didn't make any sense.
I really wish they talked with what's his name? Hard Ticket guy.
Oh, Andy
Sedaris?
Yeah, Andy Sedaris.
I really wish they talked with him because I think he could have made this movie better.
Hot tubs in Hawaii.
Hot tubs in Hawaii and boobs.
Yeah. Well, and then the like same 4 guns. Each of his like female agents in those movies has, they have a gun, but they use the same like 4 prop guns in every all 12 of his movies. And I'm like,
or they're all the same person. I mean, it's
pretty
one
much
continuing story. But unfortunately, they didn't.
Marvel. He had the MCU before Marvel.
Yeah, he did. The Sideraverse. I dig this movie. So the ultimately we get the bad guy is the DA, her boss
detective.
or whatever. Detective. One of the detectives that have been hounding her.
Yeah.
And so he turns out to be the bad guy. We get a great bad guy death.
Mm-hmm.
She kicks him through a ceiling window, and he falls like Hans Gruber, like, oh. But we also get a line. So when she I can't remember exactly who this is that she kills. Maybe it's him. I can't remember. I think it's towards the end.
Say it, and
the guy says, "Over here, bitch," and she's behind him, and she goes, "Back here, bitch," and then lights him on fire or whatever.
That was the Eugene's brother.
The brother,
yeah,
because we get him burnt up to a crisp too.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I was going to say, what's your favorite scene in this movie?
Oh gosh, any scene?
There you go.
I mean, no, like, I'm trying to think of if I have a favorite. Like, I don't know. I just really like Cynthia Rothrock. I want to watch some more of her. I'll probably do the Tiger Claw movies next.
There's
if
about
China
5...
O'Brien. If China O'Brien is on Tubi, I'm gonna watch those. So
yeah, I need to see those now too. I think there's like 5 or 6 of her movies on Prime right now too. So, well, Tubi doesn't have. They might. My favorite scene in this movie is when they capture her and take her to Eugene, who's like the middleman boss, and he's sitting at a table. And we're like, okay, who's he? He's talking to somebody at this table. And, they bring her in. He's like, I just wanted to show you my brother. And they just have like a burned dead brother sitting in the chair.
Oh, yeah.
I could not stop laughing because I was like, wait, so they like, instead of like burying him and having like a little service for him, they just sat him in a chair and they're like, all right, we got to capture her to show her what she did to my brother.
It's like you're waiting for ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun.
Yeah.
He's sitting in an office chair.
It's just
yeah, that's a pretty great scene. Yeah. My favorite scene is probably her falling off the balcony just because I'm like, God, because then she hits every tree branch on their way down, but then she rolls like she's like down this hill. Like,
yeah, that's after jumping out of a glass, like through a glass back door, right? She shatters through it and just jumps off the ledge. What a movie! No, I couldn't, it's one of those ones where it could be like there's some decent enough action, but it's just so off the wall at times that you could just put this on to laugh, like have a good laugh.
I dig it, man.
Enjoying a movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's hard to take serious a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, we love movies that are silly and whatnot. Like I said, there's something about Cynthia Rothrock that is compelling to watch. Like, she's just very entertaining. I think she takes the screen over every time she's on it. I think she's a way better actor than everybody else in this movie.
Oh yeah,
or actress. But like I said, she has some really bad lines, and
I'm curious to see what else. Because I mean, I feel like I've seen stuff of hers before, but it had been so long ago that I don't remember it. So I'm curious to kind of see where this falls in the spectrum of her cinematography or filmography.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say we'll probably do some more later on in the year because I'd really like to. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we're not going to go we're not changing anything other than, possibly throwing in some goofy martial arts movies in here and there.
Yeah, martial arts, sci-fi.
Yeah, just always spice things up. We'll try to keep it horror. No,
because somebody has to.
It's too early for that. Stop it! So I didn't mention at the beginning of the show, Matthew Henry's not here, which you've figured that out already. But don't worry, he's
40
coming
minutes
back.
in.
I know. I didn't mention Jason either because you didn't help me with that. So
I did too. I segued. You blew it off.
Did I? Oh, you did.
Because
I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. You did.
It was good.
I thought you were talking about Jason Voorhees.
Oh, because you were talking about
axe murderers.
Yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right.
All right. So 2 things. So Matthew Henry will be back next week. Okay. I have it on good faith that he'll be back next week. We will probably. We're gonna be doing an interview next week. So that'll take place of our movie format for podcasting, and we'll still have the video up on YouTube. That's the other thing is some of our interviews that we've been doing, they may take the place of a movie podcast entry just to make life a little easier to go forward. And, because we record a lot and until it pays the bills, we need to figure out an easier way to make it work for us and families and just time outside of work and podcasting. Yep. So the other thing is our friend Jason, who is not an axe murderer, is down at the dungeon. And this is a shirt from the dungeon. You can see their little logo right there. This was an event we did 2 or 3 years ago with them at the Bird in the Book. It was the Dungeon and Nerdy Laser and the Spooky Dudes. And we had Felissa Rose. So that was a cool event that we did that sparked FrankenCon.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say the precursor.
It was a precursor. So FrankenConTN.com, you can go there, find out more information. If you like horror cons in the Southeast, here we are. All of our guests are up there. We're announcing some soon as well. But Jason is down at the dungeon. He is in Maryville, Tennessee. But don't worry. Wherever you're at, you can follow him on Instagram, because you can follow Southland_Dungeon. He posts pics 2 or 3 times a day, stuff that he gets in. If you dig something that he gets in, you can contact him, work something out, and he will ship it to you. He'll tell you how much it is and everything. He's got good prices on everything. Tell him Not a Nerdy Laser sent you, and he'll probably give you an even better deal. And he's got everything from VHS to video games to DVDs, Blu-rays, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, visual vengeance, everything. So he's got a ton of stuff, hundreds of VHSs, and it's just a really cool store, really laid back, and you can go in, talk with them, and buy stuff. So please support the dungeon. It is underneath Southland Books, which is next to Southland Cafe, which is above the Bird in the Book. So if you go to southlandbooksandcafe.com, you will find everything you need to about this little cool facility that has all this fun stuff in it. So check it out, and I guess we should go ahead and rate this movie, right?
Yeah, we could. How many Burton Brothers in a chair?
I don't know, man. I think this is at least 3.5. I'd at least cut one of them in half.
He deserved it.
Yeah. We'll set his torso on the chair so he's still there with everybody else. Yeah. 3.5 I think is good, man. I like it.
Yeah. I was going to say you could leave one half there as the rating and take the other half in the car. If you need to use the carpool lane, you'd have the other half. Yeah, go ahead. Finish up.
It's on the goofy scale too, right? I mean, where I would say this movie just gets a pass, right? Like it's because I enjoyed it. And so that's where my ranking is so high. Whereas some other stuff, if I enjoy it, that doesn't mean it's like as good as, whatever, Sleepaway Camp. But it does mean it's as enjoyable. Like I get what I need to get out of it because of that.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
The same way that Ninja 3 was my first 5, I think, on the show.
We all gave that a 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, to say this would be that good, no, but I would definitely say it's a 3. I'm not even complaining about your 3.5. Like it's one that is just, it's one of those niche, like martial arts, goofy films with crazy story, and it's not a giant blockbuster, so it's nice.
No, and it also looks like, even though, like, I'm sure if you watch the Vincent copy, even the Tubi copy, whatever, like they're really clear copies, really good copies, but it just feels like a movie on VHS. Just because of more so the storyline and the time it tries to capture and stuff. It takes me back and makes me think of renting movies on VHS and how much fun I had.
Yeah. No, it's a good time. I kind of mentioned earlier, or at some point in the show, this is one you could just kind of put on and laugh. I think it'd be good to show with a group of friends, even if they're not interested in martial arts or B movies or anything like that. I think it's, it does enough to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, if there are boobs in it, it's an easy 4 for me.
Well, almost.
Any boobs. I mean,
that guy had no shirt on, so.
Okay, so the last fight, it's like a Hallmark movie. With 20 minutes left, they break up.
Right.
Like he does something, he gives the flowers he was going to give to Cynthia Rothrock to her dead friend, laying on the ground that just confessed her love for her. Fuck that man, I don't know, but anyway, so at the last fight scene, he comes to join her.
Yeah, it was like a 2v2.
At some point, he just twists and his shirt flies off. And then he's shirtless with pants on. And it's like, why did that just happen?
There's no explanation for that.
I know what my favorite scene is. What is it? My favorite scene is when she strips down to her lingerie and does karate moves in front of him at her house.
Oh, in that shadow room with the fireplace or whatever. Yeah. She's like, how about a little of this?
He's like, do it now. And she's like, I can't do it in this. He's like, take it off.
So we didn't even get into that, but I think that's a part you need to see on your own, the relationships.
Yeah, just discover the greatness for yourself. Well, buddy, I had a lot of fun talking about this. Again, everybody follow us on wherever you listen to podcasts. Please follow us on YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And until next time, what should they do, Jeff?
Keep it bloody.
Because somebody has to in their tighty-whities.
And no shirt.